for them to join in a few minutes. We still have 2 minutes for 11, so we'll just wait. Irem, we'll start now. I'll just introduce you, and the floor is open for you to take over.
Sure.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. I know some of you all have joined through Facebook, and we're live on Facebook, and we will shortly be live on other channels as well. Thank you very much for joining. Today is a very, very special session. It is a session that is the need of the hour. It's about personal branding, branding yourself, branding your individual capabilities, and through which your business also gets a lot of validity. I will leave the expert Irem Sefa to talk more about it. She has been a seller and a part of the ItsHerWay tribe and community. She is an ItsHerWay shepreneur for the last couple of months. I believe she joined early in 2022, and we're more than happy to have her. And the likes of her experience, just her charisma is beautiful. She's always forthcoming and always wants to support female entrepreneurship. So I love that about her. And I personally have had great conversations with her regarding my own personal branding. So I'm also very excited for hearing what she has to say today. This is usually a paid session that Irem does, and she has a fee for it. But for the ItsHerWay tribe, she has decided to give it to us complimentary. So take your notebooks out, keep it ready, keep taking notes, and feel free to reach out to Irem on ItsHerWay, through ItsHerWay, because her profile is there. And also, apart from this, she's also giving us free discovery sessions for all the people of ItsHerWay. Welcome, Irem. Good morning.
Good morning, Irem. Thank you for the great introduction, and good morning, everyone. So first of all, I would like to thank you and ItsHerWay team for making it possible. I'm really excited to meet you all. So my name is Irem Sefa. As Armin told, we're going to talk about personal branding, especially for women in business today. And I'm going to start with introducing myself. So I have a background in international relations bachelor degree, business administration bachelor degree, and European Union politics master degree. Also, I have studied social entrepreneurship in Oxford University. After I graduated, I started with brand management and strategic marketing in corporate companies. And I really discovered that I love marketing and I love branding, but I don't want to do it for corporate companies. I want to do it for people, especially for women, because I discovered that as a brand manager, I was really causing brands to be loved by people. And a brand, normally it doesn't exist. Brand managers and marketing managers really cause them to exist. And I was thinking, what if I really work on a woman as I work for a brand? What would be possible? So now we're going to talk about what would be possible if we work on your brand like you're a brand today. And I would start with, what is a personal brand? So personal brand is some of the perceptions and feelings that include the experience of a person in relationships with others, and in all platforms, online and offline. So it's not only like your visuals and photographies or like your appearance online. It's everywhere. What do people talk about you when you're not in the room? If, as Jeff Bezos says, it's his definition of personal branding, and I love it. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And what is personal branding? It's the process of implementing strategic marketing tools on a personal brand in order to reveal the strengths and leadership of a person in a way that serves the purpose that she wants to achieve in her career, and to make it visible, known, and demanded in the target market. So you start personal branding with a goal. And after you set the goal, it's the strategic process with marketing tools. And I also include performance coaching tools. And in the end, it's investment of time more than money. So you're really working on yourself. You're really going deep. And I always say, like, if you're a woman in here and if you're listening to me right now, I am sure that you have a goal and you're really passionate about something in business and you want to make a difference. So if you really focus on yourself and if you really focus on your goal, like you focus on your business, like you work for your company or like you work for your clients, if you work on yourself, it's going to make a huge difference in your career path. So why is personal branding important? First of all, I think you already heard about, like, you have 7 seconds for a good first impression. And if you don't have a good first impression in 7 seconds, then you need to create 20 positive experiences. And in online, it's less than 7 seconds. You really decide to follow a person in 3 seconds or maybe less. So you really got to be careful and really like aware of how you present yourself to the world. And 84% of decision makers in business life primarily consider references. So we have a saying, people buy from people. So if you really have a good reference, then they become like, people become your brand ambassadors. So if you have brand ambassadors in business, you really like easily make your work, your business happening. Like, for example, remember the time when you joined in ItsHerWay, and I'm sure you heard something about Armin, and you heard something about our ItsHerWay team. So it made you like this reputation, and these references made you really say yes for this community. It's really like, it's not happening by coincidence. It's not by chance. It's the reputation that you have in people's mind. And also, it's really like, I can also rephrase myself about for defining personal branding. Your personal brand might be what Google says about you. So because 65% of internet users find online research results on people and companies more reliable than any other source. So like, even now we are going to doctors, even now we are going to some shops, or even now we are going to some restaurants. The first thing, and maybe like even we are meeting for people, the first thing that we are looking is we're Googling them. So it's really important how you present yourself in Google. And a last thing, the online reputation of the candidates affects 85% of the hiring decisions of HR and recruitment professionals. I know most of you are entrepreneurs, but I really want to consider if you're making business with companies, they are really Googling you, and they are looking how you present yourself on Google and like on website, on online, on everywhere. So I want to also clarify something about branding, marketing, and sales. When we talk about personal branding, it may come up like branding is selling yourself or marketing yourself. Branding is not marketing. Branding is not selling yourself. It's not sales. They're really different. And I wanna explain now how is it different. So sales is a one-to-one interaction, and it's deal, and it's a persuasion. You're persuading someone to buy something or to agree for something, right? So it's kind of a link from one to one. In marketing, it's more tactical. It's like promotion. It's kind of like you're saying you need something and you need to buy this, and you're creating some tactics, you're promoting that, and you're explaining that, you're sharing that. So it's kind of like more pushing someone to do something. Branding is none of this. So branding is more strategic. It's for really like creating an impact, making an impact on people, and it's about emotional bonding with people. Like, it's really talking to the hearts of people. And if you think about the biggest brands in the world, you know that people are really following them as they are like thought leaders, and they are having like tattoos on themselves. They are wearing like t-shirts written the brands on them. So it's not something, there is no pushing. You know some brands, they have queues in front of their shops, and it's not like pushing, it's kind of like pulling people into your business, into what you're doing, into what you're standing for. And personal branding is same. It's kind of like having your magnetic field, like you're kind of a magnet that pulls people, the right people. The right people is important. I'm gonna talk about it later, but right people, pulling right people into your business. So how it's gonna happen? Personal brand is your superpower. Like, even you discovered it, or even you didn't discover it, even you're investing on your personal brand, and you're not investing your personal brand, it doesn't change the fact that your personal brand is your superpower. So how are we going to brand our superpower? There are two pillars in the way that I use, and I work with women in business all around the world. I'm working with them on their personal brands with this model. So first of all, you gotta start with what is the promise that no one in the industry has made? And this is called differentiation. So it's called unique value proposition of your business to your clients. And I want to underline something. Please, please don't start with personal branding, with the visuals, with the appearance, with like having some logos, having websites, or modifying your social media accounts. Personal branding is not social media communication. It's kind of outcome of it, but you gotta start with what is my promise? Because brands is like great brands promise something, some value in the world, and it's different than the others. That's why they are like big brands. So as a person, you have a unique value proposition. You may know or you may not know, but your promise is unique and you gotta discover it in the first hand. And I must admit, it's the most difficult part of the personal branding. It's not brand communication. It's not like sharing videos. It's not like using social media. It's not the hardest part. The hardest part is to find and to express it, like, how am I unique? Why it's hard? Because the first thing is you gotta be really convinced about how you are unique. If you're not convinced about how you're unique, you can't convince others. So you gotta be really crystal clear and confident about how you're unique and what is your value proposition. How people, like, why do you want people to come to you? What value do you really present them? Okay, this is the first part. The second part is, do the people, after the first part, after you find the unique value proposition, the second part is, do the people I want to impress see me? So now brand communication comes. And here, visibility is really important. And I know as a woman, works with hundreds of women around the world, we have a problem with being visible. Okay, so we wait for being perfect, or we are never convinced, or we don't believe like we are perfect. So it really takes time for us to be visible. And I really want to underline, personal branding and being visible is not being about perfect. It's not about that. It's really like being authentic. How you are, the way you are, it's the way you are is perfect. And the way you are is really like giving something to the world, and you gotta share it. You gotta share it, because otherwise it's gonna be unseen, and it's gonna be really like when people don't see it, they don't have the possibility and opportunity to work with you, and they don't have the opportunity to have that value, have your unique value proposition for themselves. For example, I'm a woman working with women, and I'm a personal branding consultant. Okay, so if I really like doubt myself, I'm not perfect, I'm not ready, I can't be visible, it's not the only impact is not on me. The impact is the women like you or the other women that I'm working with, and I can't really serve for them, and you can't get the value that you're getting right now. So the biggest impact is on you. And also, of course, it's kind of like self-fulfillment, because this is the like how I end up is, this is the reason why am I here? So this is my life purpose. So if I don't serve for it, if I don't honor it, then really like there's no self-fulfillment in the life I'm living in. So personal branding is not only about business, it's about self-fulfillment, and it's really like sharing who you are to the world, because you are here for something, and why not discover it and share it with people? Okay, so this is the second part. The third part is, it's brand experience, we call, and it's consistency. Do I keep my promise in everything I do? So it's about fulfilling brand promise that we made in the first hand. And this is really important, because if you're not really authentic about your brand promise, and if you are not keeping your brand promise everywhere, then people get it. And it's not personal branding, it's not working. For example, I always say, like, I'm here for empowering women, I'm a stand for women. And if I really act opposite of that, it doesn't work. And people really smell it, you know. If something is not authentic, you smell it. You can't explain how, but you know that it's not authentic. So you gotta really fool your brand promise, not only in business, in your personal life, with your family, with your neighbors, with everyone in the world. So for me, it's kind of like creating your best version. If you really work on your personal branding, how I approach to this is not only like having fancy visuals and having fancy websites or logos. It's more than that. It's deeper than that. It's kind of like you are living your best version of yourself and who you are in the world. So that's why it's your superpower. And this is my personal branding model pillars. And I have clients always asking to me, how do I know I use my superpower? How do I know that I'm a personal brand in my business? So there are I can give you some tips to understand that. It's not all list, but you can have some tips about it, okay? So if your product and service is valued more than your competitors, if key communities in your profession invite you as a speaker and authority, if your target audience finds you, not you're chasing after them, like you're a magnet for them, and if you don't have to sell, your brand is demonstrating its own value. If the right people are lining up for your service and product, and if there's no struggle in what you're doing, it's just happening, you're flowing, and it's just really like you are in a space of, this is not kind of like business, this is who I am and this is the way I live, okay? And this last thing, it's not last, but you know, this last thing in my list, if you feel that you're showing your own word and making a difference, you use your superpower. I want to underline something about women's personal branding. Like, I'm working, as I told you, I'm working with hundreds of women, entrepreneurs, C-levels, like NGOs, public people, thought leaders everywhere, like doctors, lawyers. What is really in common with us, with women, is we want to make a difference. We want to make this a better place, okay? And we have the power for that. The only thing, really, like apart from everything going on in the world, the most important thing and the only thing for me in here that stops this is we doubt ourselves. And we are not really showing our worth. And we are not like, I'm good at this. We are not saying that really comfortably. Even we say that, I think most of you heard about imposter syndrome. We are doubting us, like we feel like fraud. Is it really true? Am I really good? You know, and when this conversation is in the background, we can't really serve poor people and we can't really show our worth. And when we don't show our worth, then we are complaining, oh, no one is coming. This person is really like doing worse than me, but everyone is going there. And you think it's not about you, but it's about you. I'm sorry to say that, but it's about you because you're not showing yourself. You're not showing your own value. And if you really like, there is not going to be a day that you stand up and you don't doubt yourself and you feel like you think really like you're going to be perfect. Maybe there's going to be some days, but it's not going to be consistent, okay? And it's not about how you feel. It's about how you act and how you perform and how you really like believe in yourself. Okay, no matter what, I'm going to make a difference. So for me, this is my really like biggest, I can say this is my biggest superpower, and this is my passion about making a difference for women. When I doubt, when I don't feel good, when it's not a good day for me, or when I really like think about it's not going on, whatever, you know, it's up down. If you're an entrepreneur, it's always up and down. It's not kind of like, you know, if you're like lucky, maybe it's like this, but if you're an entrepreneur, it's always up and down, and you got to really keep yourself in your way to make a difference for a purpose, because your purpose can't be only like being seen or making money. They're really like, it's really important. You got to be financially independent, but it's not only about this. The biggest power and the biggest motivation behind you is your purpose in your personal brand. You're going to discover it in the first place. And this, I want to share with you with the BrandyMe Personal Branding Model that I discovered. And this is my model that I have been working for last 6-7 years, and I've been developing. And I really saw that this model is working. And in my consultants, I'm using this model. So I wanna share this with you so that you can also have benefit from this. So we have 4 steps in personal branding. The first step is the personal branding discovery that I mentioned. It's about, just a minute. Yeah, it's like I'm doing some brand surveys, personal brand surveys. Like, I really recommend you, if you're not working with a personal branding consultant or a professional, I recommend you go and ask people, what are my strengths? Like, how do you know me? And what is my superpower? Ask them, because people see you better than you see yourselves, and you're gonna be surprised what comes up. Okay, and have like some goals. Like, what is my goal? And where do I want to go? And why am I, like, what do I want to make a difference for, you know? So this is all about discovery, your passion, your mission, your vision, your values, your talents, your leadership skills. There are many like tests and inquiries and coaching sessions and branding sessions in the first part. The second, and you know, you also know SWOT analysis. I'm sure you know, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Really like work on yourself like you work on your business. Because especially if you're an entrepreneur, people come to you because of you. People come, like people buy from people. And if you're seeing more, if you're really showing who you are to the world, then your business also grows. And I want to underline something. Showing up doesn't mean showing off. Most women I work with hesitate. I don't want to show off. I say personal branding is not showing off. This is something different. Personal branding is showing up. Okay? So in the first part, you're defining, what am I going to show up with? This is the first part. And the second part is personal brand building. In the second part, your unique value proposition, you're defining your niche market. So who is my target audience? Who is my target audience? And you got a really deep dive, like who are they? Are they families? Like, what do they do in the holidays? What do they do in the weekends? How do they work? What do they need? What are they psychological, motivational, what are their motivation, like how is their psychology, everything. Okay, and you gotta know this, like you are trying to know your boyfriend, okay, or a girlfriend, like however, because if you really know your target audience, then you know who you're speaking to, and you know how to serve them, and you know how to explain your value to them, and you can say, okay, you need this and I have this, then we can work with. You really need to know what your target audience wants so that you can serve for it. And in the building part, there are some brand terminologies, like we are defining archetypes. I really want you to Google that if you don't heard about it. It's a huge thing, so I can't explain right now, but I want you to Google brand archetype. It's gonna save your life in branding. Okay. Also, it's reason to believe. Why should I believe you? So what are my credentials? Is it a certificate? Is it my references? Is it my website? So what is my personal brand identity that I am creating? In the third part, after I create everything, now I'm going to communicate this. Okay. It's what is my strategy? Why am I communicating? And which are the right tools for me? I know there are some people who are recommending like we need to be in all social media channels. I know that it's impossible. If you're a solopreneur, it's really impossible. You can't be in all channels. No, you got to be selective and you got to be in the right channels where your target audience are active. So you got to be really selective. You don't need to be active in all social media channels. You got to be active in the social media channels which your target audience are active and which your competitors are active and which you're comfortable in being active. For example, if you're, by the way, in the second part, you need to also have a competition analysis to make the differentiation point. So you got to look at the competition and you got to see how you're different from competition. And in the communication part, you are having some personal brand stories. So why did you start with, why you're serving for, what you're serving for, and in your network, this is, by the way, your network is also really like a golden tool for communication. It's, I mentioned at the beginning, within the network, if you share who you are with people, you are creating brand ambassadors, which is really, really important, because references, they become your references for another businesses, that they become references for new opportunities, new partnerships. So this is, your network is also important. But when I say network, it's not like interest-based networking that you understand from your past experiences. It's not like I'm gonna go to this person because this person can give it to me. No, for me, network management is really like personal relationship with people. Like we are people. Like we have emotions, we are dealing with some daily stuff, really like being interested in with what people are dealing with and really being interested in people. Because I have a great network of people in the world, and I know I made this because I'm interested in people, and I'm really like wondering how they are doing, how I can contribute them. It's something that you should do it in an authentic way. If you're not interested in a person, if you don't want to interact with them, you can't go to them only for your interest. It's smells and it's not authentic and it doesn't work. I think you know what I mean. Okay, so when I say network management, it's really like people relationship. Invest in your relationship with people. The fourth part is personal brand sustainability. So in the personal brand sustainability, you gotta have a future dream to fulfill. This is really important. Okay, I'm gonna invest this amount of time, and I'm gonna really go deep dive. And maybe like if you wanna work with a consultant, you're gonna invest money. So for all of this, you're gonna start with, what is the future dream to fulfill? Why am I doing this? Okay, it needs to be crystal clear for you. And you gotta have a long-term personal branding marketing plan. Like you have for your business, if you have, what am I gonna do on January, February, March, April, May? What are the brand KPIs for it? What are the brand cooperations with the others? Like what is my personal brand project and what is my personal brand collaborations, my priorities, my KPIs? Personal brand collaborations are really, really important, because most of us are not really like the corporate brands that we have like millions of dollars for our marketing, our budget. Okay, for millions of budget to market our brand, we don't have that. So if you collaborate with right brands that are also targeting your audience, it's gonna really have like a bigger impact in your communication and bigger impact on your difference that you're making on people. Normally, what comes from past, how we know that you can't collaborate with competitors, for example. In the new era, it's really like you can also cooperate with your competitors. If it's the right competitor that you can contribute to each other, if it's a win-win collaboration, you can do that. You should really look for it. It's not like you can't be on your own. I think how it's it's a paradox. Is personal branding sounds personal, but personal branding is not personal. Personal branding is about community, because who you are is also about how they perceive you. So it's about people, it's about your target audience, it's about community, what they say about you. So you can't be a personal brand on your own. It's not kind of a monologue, it's a dialogue in between people. So it's a preference. It's really like if you prefer or not, but I really recommend you to cooperate with other brands, even in your industry, even in their cooperation, or cross sectors you can cooperate with. So the first part is knowing yourself. The second part is knowing your competitors and your target audience. The third part is sharing yourself. And fourth part is being consistent. So, you remember the pillars. I told you the first pillar is the most difficult one, and you got to really work on the first pillar. It's brand promise and positioning. In the second pillar, it's about visibility. And in the fourth pillar, it's about brand experience. It's the third pillar, sorry. So last but not least, you gotta be really patient and consistent in your branding, your superpower. Maybe you're not gonna get a result in one day, but if you really invest in your personal branding, visibility, making a difference, giving a value for people, it's gonna really like pay back. It's gonna pay back. So also you're gonna differentiate your value, differentiate who you are in the sector, and you gotta focus on something. You can't be a brand on everything. This is also kind of like something that people hesitate, having a niche market. When I say like focus, make smaller your target audience, people say, oh, okay, if I choose this group, then I'm gonna lose that group. But I'm always saying, it's really expensive to reach the right audience. It's really expensive to reach, like in community wise, it's really expensive in time wise, in money wise, in platform wise. There are millions of people in like the physical world and also in the social media platforms. You gotta choose a group of people, a niche, so that this is the right people. And if you really choose them and if you really target them very well, they're going to find you. But if you if you target everyone, then your target audience is not going to feel special. Today's marketing, it's really important, personification. People want to feel special with the brands and like the companies that work with. You gotta feel special. So you can't be talking to everyone. And plus, you don't have that marketing budget. Okay, corporate brands are doing that. By the way, I also don't agree with that. They like if you're a powerful brand, you are targeting a niche. Niche doesn't mean the number of people are less. Niche means it's really like people in that group, they are really specific. They have really like specific common features and you're talking to them. So this second part is really important. And of course, like creating value. Personal branding for the sake of creating value works. And taking leadership. I also work with, women who have like great leadership skills, but they don't think they are leaders and they want to be in the background, like supportive roles. No, you're not a supporter, you're a leader. If you are here and if you're listening, like in the morning when you have lots of things to do, then you have something to say in this world and you have some leadership skills to take, but you gotta own it and you gotta use it. You can't be always in the background and supporting people. You gotta really take the leadership, because personal brands are living for something. And knowing your audience is really important, because if you know your audience, you know where they are gathering, you know where to find them, you know how to communicate them, you know what to say them, you know what's their pain point. If you know their pain point, then you know how you can make a difference for them. And of course, being visible, sharing your story. Like when I say sharing your story, you may misunderstand like sharing your products and services. Yes, sharing your products and services are important, but sharing your own story, it's more important, because we are bonding, like we are bonding each other through our emotions, and stories are the most powerful tool to bond each other, to have an emotional bond each other, and like to speak to the hearts of people. And as I said, creating collaborations, it's really important, and being authentic. Like however you are, you don't need to be perfect. However you are is perfect. And you gotta be comfortable in your own skin. If you're authentic, then it works. And I really want you to think about people you love. You really love unconditionally. And when you think about them, there's something common. They're not perfect, but they're authentic. And the way they're authentic, it's perfect. So the image that you have for them, whatever they do, you have a credit, you have a credibility for that. You have some credit for them, okay? And so as a personal branding consultant for women, I have 3 kind of services to make a difference for you. The first one is personal branding workshop. It's for 3-hour live workshop. The second one is, it's my main service. It's personal branding consultancy, one-to-one. I'm working with women on their personal brand with their pillars and the steps and everything. And as Armin said at the beginning, I'm offering free consultancies, like free discovery consultancy service through ItsHerWay. Armin is gonna share the link in the chat. You can see. So you can have your discovery session. You can book your discovery session to talk to me like for half an hour. We can look how we can work together, or how your personal brand can make a difference to live your life fully and live it in a powerful way. And a third thing that I'm serving is I'm having networking events like once in a quarter. I'm announcing it. I will be announcing it in ItsHerWay platform as well. So you're more than welcome to come. So what I stand for is, and this is kind of like my life motto, each time a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for all women. So since you are here, up to now, you're listening to me, you are really like questioning, you are inquiring, you're discovering you're a woman. I have no doubt that you're a woman who stands for yourself. And that's why you really inspire me today again. And I'm thankful for Armin and ItsHerWay to make this possible and giving that opportunity to me. So for now, what we can do is I'm going to share my communication addresses, but I want you to like ask me any question if you have any question about your personal branding, or anything that you didn't understand from the presentation or not clear for you maybe. So I will be here for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm here to answer your questions. And Armin, please guide me if you see any questions from the Facebook or the other online platforms that we are streaming now. I don't see that. So I'm waiting for your questions for a while. Yeah.
Yes. Just give me a second. Irem, if you want to stop sharing your screen, we can be in the full screen of the video. Yeah, perfect.
Sure.
There are a few questions that have been listed. I'm just going to pull them up here now.
Okay.
Yeah. There is one question that came early on. Is personal branding important for products-based businesses as well as service-based, or is there like a wait for being more out there in your personal brand when you're a service business provider and when you're not a service business provider?
Perfect. It's a perfect question. I can't say it's one like service-based or product-based is more important, but what I can say is, if you're a service-based provider, then you gotta like it's gonna be maybe like more important for explaining your business and convincing your target audience, because if you're gonna take service from a person, then the personality and like how the attitude and the expertise is more important, because you're gonna directly have a service from that person. But it doesn't mean it's not important for product people. Like if you're giving a product, if you're like serving products, it doesn't mean it's not important. Personal branding is not important for you, because, you know, in this world, there are like many people are producing products, but how personal branding is important for product provider people is the story that you're creating behind. Because when you are creating that product,
Absolutely.
you have a story behind that. And the difference, the competitive advantage that you can create with the products is your story behind it. You can say, I created this because of that, because I'm a stand for that. It's not only a product like Steve Jobs did. You know, it's not only a product. There's a story, there is a stand. You know, Steve Jobs is a great example. There, we weren't taking service for him, but when he shared the story of the product and why he's doing that as a person, we buy that. And there are many phones, maybe it's better than this, but we are buying this still, even he's died, you know? So it's, I can't say it's one more is more important than the other, but where it comes from and how it affects your business is different, but both they're important.
Thank you. I think what I personally believe as well is that even if you have a product, that product somehow is an extension of the creator.
Yeah.
And that personal identity, as you said, Steve Jobs example, right? We would relate to him as an idol, or we would relate to him as an inspirational leader, as a person who knows, who challenges the status quo at all times. And
Yes.
we knew that when he challenged the status quo, just, giving that example, he would create something, massively beautiful or massively efficient. And that's why we believed everything that came out of Steve Jobs's office or organization would be a sort of an extension of his identity.
Exactly.
So I think there's a lot of value to extending your personal brand's identity, your individuality and your personality into the products that you sell or you trade with as well. So I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
There's another question that came up on Facebook.
Sure.
What are your networking mantras? And that is a good question, because it's going to lead on to the next session that we're going to have on this Friday. That's about how to do speed networking, how to do networking with yourself, because there's a lot of women who are not confident in talking about themselves.
Yeah.
Even today. So that is the session that we're going to be doing on Friday. But the question was, what are a brand consultant like yours networking mantras? They just want to know.
Yeah, the first one is, it's like where to network, and the where to network is about, the answer is where is your target audience is. Like, for example, my networking groups are where women in business are. So it's, please don't be a networker where someone networks everywhere, because it's kind of like not good reputation for you. Like, your business can't be about only networking, because we also know some people, they only do networking and they're not doing anything else. And it doesn't have even them, it doesn't leave you a good impact. Okay, so a good impression. So the first thing is, where's my target audience? This group, like ItsHerWay, my target audience is ItsHerWay. My target audience is this entrepreneurship group, this online group. I'm choosing like 3, 4, whatever. Okay, so how much time I'm gonna invest them? Okay, so one day in a month, or like 2 days in a month, I can invest in these groups, or 1 day in a week, whatever. It's depending on your schedule. After I schedule myself about that, then how do I approach people? It's just listening. We don't use it, but listening is the most effective communication tool to communicate. It's not speaking, it's listening. So it's just like, hello, I'm not going like, hello, I'm a personal branding consultant. No, you don't need to do that. People are going to ask you, like, if you're really interested in people, hello, Armin, how are you? Where are you from? What are you doing? Tell me. Go there to listen, not go there to talk, because someone is going to ask you, But and also really like listening also gives you a lot. You learn from people and they give you some feedbacks. They tell you about something. It's not like be silent and listen. No, but be there like you're in a party. In a party, you're not dying for telling what you're doing as a business, you know, but in the end, people knows what you're doing. It's natural. So if why it doesn't work, because we are not, it's not authentic how we act. We are under pressure. We are not natural. So just really like feel like you are in a friends gathering. There are some people need to meet. I'm also excited for meeting people. It's kind of like my passion. I love knowing people. So go, people ask, what are you doing? And after, like when they ask you, of course, have kind of a pitch, elevator pitch talk, like, okay, I'm a personal branding for women in business. And when you say that, people are, okay, what is that? They might be interested in what is that? And most of the time they're asking because you're talking to the right audience. And I'm starting from, okay, if you're a woman who wants to be visible, I'm starting with the need. I'm not going like I have a personal branding model that I worked with for 10 years. It doesn't mean anything. Start with the need, what they need. So if you're a woman, experienced woman in business, if you're passionate, but you're not visible, you don't think you get your word, you know, I'm because I know that, because I'm coming from there as well. So start with the need.
Yeah.
If you're that kind of woman, I have a personal branding model and consultancy to work with you. And then if they're more interested, I'm going into details. But they don't need to know everything about what you're doing. They need to know what's the value you create. And how the value starts with the need they have. So know the need they have, and then it comes.
That's amazing. That's very well put, Irem. That's really, really just bang on for me, because if it's not a giving mindset that you're coming into when you're doing these networking sessions, there won't be meaningful relationships built. And only once a relationship is built, even if it's a short-term one, once the relationship is built with you and your brand and the opposite person, your customer, your potential client, will there be a transaction that happens? Otherwise,
Yes.
without the initial relationship, there won't be a transaction.
No.
And
no.
I mean, whatever you say, it just goes, and there's no impact. As you said, you need to listen first. The opposite person will also be interested in listening to you if there is value that you're adding to that time that they're spending with you. So
Exactly.
it has to be a dialogue driven, giving mindset kind of a, opportunity. I think one last question from me, and then if there is anyone in here at Zoom who wants to know something, then we'll open it to them. You talked about brand promise. How important is brand promise and branding compared to personal public relations? So PR is a marketing tool. It's a
Yes.
marketing tool or a marketing tactic.
Yes.
Is brand persona or brand promise and brand building, personal brand building, similar to PR, or should one even invest time and money in PR apart from brand, your personal brand building?
Yes, I think this is a perfect question as well, because sometimes it's like mixed and it's becoming complicated, it's confusing. It's a great question. So brand promise is why I exist. Okay, and defining why I exist and really clarifying why I exist and why I do everything I do. This is kind of like the reason I'm doing this. PR is a part of the communication. So if you start only PR without knowing why I exist, who is my target audience, you may invest a lot of money in the wrong target audience, wrong communication tools, because you may think like everyone should know me, like I should do my PR everywhere. For example, I'm working with women in business, and if I go to like men in business magazines and PRing myself, it doesn't mean anything. It's not gonna serve, like maybe like maybe in the second, third hand it's gonna serve me, but it's not my focus. So first of all, you gotta know brand promise, Who is my target audience? Where are they? Which communication tools are they using? I gotta PR myself. Like PR is good. You can do that. I don't PR myself. I believe in the organic one, but it's a choice. It's not wrong. I also like recommend PR for example, ItsHerWay should have a PR communication tool because it's a community. So you should have that. And but you should have like, who is my target audience? It's entrepreneurs in Dubai and Europe, for example. Okay, so what's the right magazine or right online tool to PR myself?
Yes.
It should be credible. It's, for example, there are some TV channels coming to me. They're saying, can you be like, we want to invite you on our TV channel. And I know that the other guests in that TV channel doesn't match with me. So I don't go there. So it's not like go and broadcast yourself everywhere. No, be selective.
Absolutely. I think that brings to the same point, right, that you mentioned initially, that be selective of your networks and be selective of the people that you associate yourself, or the communities that you associate yourself with as well, because that's the time you're investing in, in marketing yourself. Invest it in the right people and the right platforms.
Yes.
So I think this is really, really helpful for us and for the brands that we have. We have a lot of micro businesses, and we've spoken about that earlier as well. So they wouldn't probably have the length or the breadth of the budgets of bigger brands that you and I have worked with, in our careers as well. But they still need to understand the importance of personal branding, because it's very, very scary for me sometimes when I think about it, or I even see that about 40% of our shepreneurs today, who are 2,500 plus now, do not have their own LinkedIn pages updated, which feels scary. I'm getting goosebumps right now when I'm even thinking about it. How is that possible? Why are you doing that? And every day I think of how can we firstly educate them and make them understand and realize the importance of spending time on their own personal brand. So it is a long journey, it is a long way to go, but we're not going to back down just because the numbers are huge. We'll do this every other day, we'll do this every other time, and whenever there is an opportunity, we would love for an experienced professional like you to come in and just inspire us like that. Thank you very much for your time, Irem. Would you like to say something on the upcoming training programs or workshops that you have in the next couple of weeks? Please do.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Armin. I want to say something about the last thing, because it's really important. As women, especially if you're a solopreneur, we want to do everything on our own. And it doesn't work, and we are getting exhausted, we are not motivated. It's like, really go and ask for help. Sometimes you really find the right partner and you can barter if you don't have that budget to have that. So there are many ways of working with each other. So it's not only, if you don't have that budget, you can create that, but you can negotiate that, you can communicate that, you can have always a win-win solution for collaboration. But please, 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 don't try to do everything on yourself, because it's our, I think this is our superpower, as well as this is our like kind of sin. Curse, I can say. So don't do that. So for the upcoming programs, for July and August, I'm not going to have workshops, but I will be continuing one-to-one personal branding consultancy. So you can book yourself from ItsHerWay page, 30 minutes, free discovery call. Let's look together how we can contribute, how we can elevate your personal brand. This is one thing. And starting from September, I will be announcing my workshops and networking events on your page, ItsHerWay page. So you can book for summer. We only have one-to-ones, and I'm happy to connect you on LinkedIn, Instagram. You can ask me through emails, whatever. I'm really there for you to contribute, and it's not something for me that I do as business. As I say, it's like why I exist. This is the reason I live. So I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm really, really thankful again, Armin, to meet you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I might be coming to Turkey for the summer, so we'll see you there.
Yes. See
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
I would
and,
happy to.
yes, indeed. I will get in touch for sure. We'll try and do another session in a couple of weeks, and we'll plan that and we'll announce it. There will be quite a few emails that we'll be answering for you and questions and, people who are just interested to know more. So we'll get back to you on that. Thank you once again, and you have a good rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.